Welcome home. In this podcast, we venture into what it means to be a leader in this new world. Human, flawed but working on things, and forever changed by using our intuition to guide us. I'm Adalina East, founder of Transformational Healing and mentor to those running soul-based businesses. Join me to receive transformational healing, tips to dive more deeply into your unique spiritual gifts, and to hear great conversations with other entrepreneurs in spirit. Let's get started. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Cosmic Leadership. I'm your host, Adalina East. I am a neuroscientist. I'm also an EMDR therapist. I use internal family systems therapy, as well as my own modality, transformational healing, to lead people towards healing themselves. Thank you so much for choosing to spend your time with me. I know that there are about 1 billion podcasts out there. I'm so grateful that you choose this one week after week. We are still on the top 50 in good pods. I cannot believe how happy I am about that, how grateful I am to you for being here. Thank you so much for continuing to show up and do this work on yourself, because as we all know, when we change, we are changing the world. So, as a person who used to do that on a different level, I used to work for international NGOs and work on changing the world that way. I can tell you doing it this way is not only better for my physical body, but it is also so beautiful and so rewarding. So thank you again for being a part of this community. You may have noticed that our cadence of episodes has slowed down. This will continue. I am a super busy woman these days. I wanted to talk about community today because it's actually something that is so undervalued, I think, in the US where I am. What I've noticed here in the US is that people value their bio family a whole lot. Like your natal family, the family that you were born into, that is the unit here in the US for the most part. But what we can see in the latest literature about community is that people who have a stronger sense of community have better resilience. They stand up against stress better on stress scales. And B, community is as big as you want it to be. So if you want it to just be your natal family, and of course, there are times of life where this is the only possibility if you have multiple kids, or maybe even one kid under the age of 5, forget it. There's no time for anything else, and I get it. But if you have time to create more community, to spend more time with friends, to spend more time with people you may not know yet, but you have a feeling about that they might be a wonderful addition to your community, go for it. We all need that resilience. I am recording this history in the past. It is before the election results are out. And so I don't know how all of you are feeling about that, but I do know that regardless of who wins the election, how our country here in the US looks, whatever wars or crazy things are happening around us, we all still need that resilience. Do you ever feel like you're stuck and you're not quite sure what to do next? Do you ever feel like maybe the best times of your life might be behind you and you're not sure where to go from here? I completely understand. I work with a lot of people in the same situation. If you are going through this sort of life transition time, I'm here to help. I find that with a lot of my clients, the life transition time overlaps with a lot of other things. Parents aging, raising children, switching careers, relationship changes, all of those kinds of things. I believe in the ability of all of us to transition through these things with ease and with grace, if you have the right guide. I am so happy to work with you through any and all of these things. I find that a lot of trauma healing can happen during this time because we start to look at how that has impacted our lives so far. So if you're starting to notice yourself going through changes, wanting to see more change in your life, and wanting to let go of these older traumas, check out my website. We're going to include the link below. You can book just a single session with me to start if that feels right for you, either using EMDR or internal family systems or IFS therapy, also called parts work, Or you can book a transformational healing session, my own modality, to try to work through whatever's going on a spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical level all at the same time. I really recommend this. I find it's the fastest way through. But of course, this is up to you, and I have lots of different options to suit every need. I would love to walk with you through this transition time. I hope to hear from you soon. Today we're having a Q&A episode. I hope you all enjoyed the last transformational healing episode. I heard from so many of you about the different things that you had worked on, and I look forward to keep getting those stories. If you want to keep sending me stories of whatever you work on throughout a transformational healing episode and the differences and the changes you see in your life after that, please do. Remember that a major part of neuroscience and a major part of changing our brains and changing the way we look at the world or interact with the world or overcoming bad habits, those kinds of things, all of that in neuroscience is about repetition. So, if you have something that you would like to change in your life, I recommend you to go back when you're done with this episode, of course. Go back and listen to the last episode, the transformational healing session episode. Choose whatever you'd like to work with and then repeat it. You can listen to this podcast as many times as you want. This is a free resource for you. So go back and repeat that episode for like 5 or 6 days in a row and just watch the changes happen around you. It's really pretty cool. This is one of the reasons that I became a neuroscientist. I love to see change happening, and I love that it can be as simple as using our brains to do it. Of course, if you have something specific that you would like to work on, I encourage you to book a session with me sooner rather than later. So let's get to today's question and answer. Today, our question is from Dee Dee, and she lives in California. I don't know Dee Dee. I've never had a session with Dee Dee, but from what I understand from the question, she is really going through it. So let's hear what Dee Dee has to say. Dear Adalina, I know that you always ask for questions, and I'm so excited to have the chance to get your opinion on something. I've been living with my sister for the last 10 years. We love this arrangement because we love each other and we love to spend time together. But now I'm dating someone for the first time. We are still very young, but I am a late bloomer, and this is a pretty late relationship for a 29-year-old. I'm really happy in this relationship and I have no interest in ending it, but I'm also feeling the growing pains with my sister. She's used to having me all to herself, and now that I'm dating someone, we spend more time together. It's actually gotten to the point that my new boyfriend feels uncomfortable in our apartment because my sister is always there wanting to take part in whatever we're doing. So we're spending more of our time at his house now. I want to have a conversation about this with my sister, but I don't want to hurt her feelings. We are so close. We've always been so close. And my dream is for us to remain this close forever, though I know that might not be realistic. Can you give me some pointers about how to approach this conversation with my sister? Yes, I certainly can, Dee Dee. So let's first talk about this. You're happy where you're living. You and your sister are happy living together. That is a major strength. I mean, that is not something that happens to everyone. I'm so happy for you that the two of you are really happy living together. What I am curious about, though, is what are the things that your sister is wanting to do with you and your boyfriend? So, for example, if you and your boyfriend are watching a movie in the common room, like in the living room of your apartment, I feel like it's okay that your sister wants to watch a movie with you. She lives there as well. It's also her living room, and it's fair game, right? So if the two of you want time alone together, the signal is to go into your bedroom and close the door. If your sister knocks on the door, the key is to be as gentle as you possibly can and let her know that the two of you want time alone. You can just use those words. We would like to have time alone. So she knows it's not personal, it has nothing to do with her. The two of you just want time alone. If tension persists, if your boyfriend is still feeling as though he's sort of left on the outside when the two of you are together, or if he really just wants more alone time with you, obviously the key is to spend time at his place or to go in your room and close the door. and to say to your sister, we just really want alone time. I don't think that it's realistic to expect her to stay away from the two of you if you're spending time in the living room. You're her best friend. Of course, she wants to spend time with you, and she wants to get to know this man that you think is so important. And so I feel like it's pretty natural for her to want to spend time with the two of you if you're in a common space. So if you're already doing the thing where you're spending time at his place and you're spending time in your room, letting your sister know that you want time alone, next I would broach the conversation with her. And we do something in therapy and in business called the sandwich. So you can give her a kindness sandwich. Start with kindness and just let her know how much you love her, how much she means to you, how happy you are that the two of you are still able to live together even at 29. And you're so grateful that you have this relationship with your sister where you can actually talk to her about things because you know that's not what everyone has. Then let her know kindly, gently, that because this is a newer relationship than yours, like it's far less than 29 years old, your boyfriend is wanting more time alone with you. And he's wanting to have more space from her to get this time alone with you, to get to know you better. And let her know that that is all that it is. It is nothing personal. He likes her very much. Also, let her know that you love when the three of you spend time together, but that you have also noticed that she's always spending a lot of time with you and that you also need some time alone with him to get to know him better. Don't put the whole thing on him. If you put the whole thing on him, she will decide to hate him. So take some ownership here. You can start with the him part, but then also back it up with the you part. I also want more time alone with him so that I can get to know him better. And so we're spending more time at his place, or we're spending more time in my room with the door closed. I love you. I'm so grateful that you're my sister. And I hope that you take this whole conversation well, because I would be just so devastated if you and I were not okay. And so I rely on you to tell me if you and I are not okay. And then shut up and listen. This is the hard part. Some of us are over explainers. I am guilty of this myself. You don't need to over explain here. Just stop talking and let her talk and really hear what she's saying. If she points out specific circumstances where she's felt left out or othered, respond to those kindly with love, not with defensiveness. Leave your defensiveness at the door. I know this can be easier said than done, but it really is one of the major keys, one of the major pillars to continuing to have healthy relationships. Leave your defensiveness at the door and just listen. Respond kindly, respond with love, respond the way that you would want her to respond to you if the tables were turned. And I hope this goes well for you. To everyone else, I hope that you have a really wonderful week. Keep sending in your questions. I'm more than happy to answer them. I'm more than happy to create transformational healing episodes. Thank you so much for listening to these important conversations about cosmic leadership and the changing needs of our times. If you enjoyed this conversation, please rate and review this podcast on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also share it with a friend. Join our crew at Adalina East on Instagram or at Adalina East Healing on Facebook. With all the love from every dimension, Adalina.